Hello, you're watching India Today Global with me, Ishita Mitra. It's Wednesday morning in the Indian capital, and at this hour, we bring you the top story from around the globe. Now, today, our big story comes from South Korea, where the political landscape has taken a historic turn with the arrest of impeached President Yoon Suk Yeol over insurrection charges. Now, this event marks the first time in the nation's history that a sitting president has been detained. Now, we'll take a look at what are the implications of this arrest for South Korea, how did the arrest unfold, and what are the charges against Yoon Suk Yeol. Now, the reactions that have been coming in have been really strong. Following his arrest, Yoon addressed the nation through a pre-recorded message, and in his message, he expressed deep concern over what he described as a collapse of the rule of law in South Korea. Now, he further accused investigative agencies of issuing arrest warrants without proper authority and also claimed that courts in the country were acting without due process. Now, Yoon emphasized that while he was presenting himself to the Corruption Investigation Office, this arrest or his surrender should not be seen as an endorsement of what he termed as illegal investigation. Now, he also stated that his intention to prevent unnecessary bloodshed as police attempted to forcibly enter his residence during the arrest operation. So he basically said that in order to prevent further chaos in the country or to prevent further bloodshed in the country, I am surrendering right now myself to the investigative agencies of the country so that more chaos can be prevented. Now, you see, this is not the first attempt that was carried out to arrest the president. In fact, this was the second one after a failed attempt that was carried out on January 3rd. And ever since Yoon declared martial law in the country, which was of course revoked within few hours of being implemented, police and investigative agencies of the country had been after the president, but he'd been able to successfully evade the forces so far. So let's understand how the arrest unfolded today. Now, on Wednesday, over 1,000 anti-corruption investigators and police officers executed an arrest warrant at Yoon's residence in Seoul, which is the capital of South Korea. Thousands of people, including his supporters, had gathered outside Yoon's home, while a group of lawmakers also from the governing Conservative People Power Party, which is of course a part of Yoon's coalition, had attempted to prevent the arrest. But this operation, which was of course the second one, involved careful planning and coordination to breach around 3 blockades that had been set up around Yoon's residence. And so, despite the previous resistance, law enforcement successfully entered that compound after hours of maneuvering, and then Yoon was successfully taken into custody without significant incident and later, of course, transported to the Corruption Investigation Office for questioning. You see, only one person was injured in this chaos, and this is comparatively, if you see the chaos that had erupted on January 3rd, it was much smaller in scale. But you see, timing is key here, as I already mentioned that this standoff at Yoon's presidential residence came just hours after he failed to appear for the first hearing in his impeachment trial. And secondly, this was of course the second attempt, as I mentioned before, to arrest the president. Now, let's understand that why was Yoon arrested and what are the implications of this arrest for South Korea. Now, Yoon's arrest stems from serious allegations of insurrection, and these are related to his declaration of martial law on December 3rd last year. Now, this controversial move was intended to address unrest, according to, of course, the impeached president, but it immediately faced backlash and was overturned by the parliament within hours of Yoon declaring the martial law in the country. And now his actions have been widely condemned both domestically and internationally, leading to accusations of how Yoon overstepped his authority and tried to suppress dissent in South Korea. You see, North Korea being his neighbor, South Korea has always been this country who's prided itself for its democratic values, and Yoon's declaration of martial law somehow dented that reputation, and this was taken very personally by South Koreans at large. So after his martial law declaration, opposition parties quickly moved to impeach him, and although the first impeachment attempt that came in failed, a second attempt succeeded on December 14th last year, which of course resulted in his suspension from presidential duties. Now, the Constitutional Court is currently deliberating whether to reinstate him or remove him permanently from his office. And Yoon's arrest also has significant implications now for South Korea's political future. Why? Let's understand the questions this arrest has raised first of all. It has raised questions about presidential accountability and the limits of executive power, because this step and Yoon's declaration of martial law was seen as him overstepping his authority. So to understand what are the boundaries of accountability and executive power in South Korea, this is a question that will need to be answered now. Secondly, the charges against him do not fall under presidential immunity, so this means that he could face serious legal consequences if found guilty. So definitely at this point, the political landscape in South Korea is highly polarized. Some supporters view Yoon as a victim of political plot, while his opponents see this arrest as a crucial step towards accountability for abuses of power. Now, the public's reaction has also been divided as they await the Constitutional Court's decision regarding his future and potential reinstatement. Now, the question whether he will be reinstated or permanently removed from his office is something that will be answered over the course of a few days now. Now, another question comes in that what's next for South Korea and of course President Yoon? Well, following his arrest, now Yoon can be held up for about 48 hours under the current laws of the country, and investigators may seek a new warrant as well if they wish to extend his custody further. Now, so as South Korea navigates this unprecedented political crisis, all eyes are right now on the Constitutional Court and how it will address the complex issues surrounding Yoon's presidency and legal challenges. You see, the situation underscores a critical moment in South Korean democracy, where historical precedents are being questioned, and of course, you're questioning the precedents which have been there in the past, and also you'll be setting new precedents as to how this decision unfolds in Yoon's case. So regarding, how the leadership accountability and civil governance will unfold in the country will of course be dependent on how the Constitutional Court decides the judgment in Yoon's case. Well, these are the latest updates that we're getting in from South Korea. The president, Yoon Suk Yeol, has been arrested finally. This was the second attempt at his arrest. Investigative agencies and police officers had raided his residence with thousands of his supporters also coming to his rescue, but in a successful operation that was carefully planned and coordinated by multiple agencies, the arrest became successful, and now Yoon Suk Yeol is in custody. He's been answering questions as to how the investigation unfolds. Will decide what will be the future of the impeached president. Thank you so much for watching this with us. Stay tuned to India Today Global, where we simplify geopolitics for you.